And now I want to pivot to a little bit of positive news, step away from the war in Gaza, uh, and share a really lovely story, that of My Tree in Israel. It's an incredible initiative that allows people to adopt an olive tree in the land of Israel. And not only that, each year you get Israeli-made olive oil from your tree delivered straight to your home wherever you are in the world. So it's really an opportunity to help Israeli farmers and agriculture, but also enjoy the delicious benefits. And so joining us now is Ishai Gelb, Vice President of My Tree in Israel. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
So can you tell us a little bit about My Tree in Israel and what led you to develop this initiative?
So the My Tree in Israel initiative has two primary goals which we are focused on. The first is to support and to promote the Israeli farmers and Israeli agriculture at large, especially due to the war, which we'll get into. And the second is to create a tangible connection between people who love Israel and the land of Israel. So we do so by creating a personalized relationship between individuals and organizations from all over the world directly to Israeli farmers, which creates a two-way road where on the one hand, the farmers receive the benefits of the support. But on the second hand, the people who connect to the program get to reap the fruits of their investment. I'm right now standing here surrounded by hundreds, thousands of olive trees, which were adopted by, we call it adopted. It's basically people who adopt these olive trees, adopted by people from all over the world who in the next month, which is the peak of the harvest season, they're going to receive olive oil from these trees that they adopted directly to the doorstep at the end of the season. And the cherry on top is that each bottle is individually labeled with each person or organization's name to symbolize the connection between themselves and the land. The idea here is that people can support Israel not necessarily in the form of a donation, but rather by investing directly in the Israeli farmer and receiving something beautiful in return, all while maintaining the meaningful feeling of support for the land of Israel. And those aren't my words. Those are the words of Ambassador Huckabee, who's been a supporter of this program for the past 4 years and standing right in front of his tree.
I see that you're standing next to the sign that says Governor Mike Huckabee. So why don't you tell us a little bit about his involvement and some of the notable figures that own trees?
For sure. So Ambassador now, Mike Huckabee, this tree was adopted by his wife, Janet, back in 2022. And ever since then, Mike has been here twice. He visited his tree. And he's really been a bridge for us between Israel and the evangelical Christian community in the United States and around the world. And since then, we've had trees adopted by people who adopt trees for themselves and for their families to enjoy the olive oil throughout the year. We have people who adopt trees as special gifts to give out during the holiday season, Hanukkah, Christmas. And we also have trees who are adopted in memory of loved ones. For example, there's a tree here that was adopted by a man named Mr. Ramsey, who adopted the tree in memory of his late wife, who unfortunately passed away from cancer the year prior. And ever since then, he's received olive oil from that tree as a way to commemorate the name of his late wife. And so we've also had trees who have been adopted in memory of soldiers who have fallen during the war. We also have a tree here who was adopted in memory of the Bibas family, which in a couple of months, the ambassador will be here along with the family to commemorate their names here in the land of Israel. There's just so many ways and reasons why people choose to adopt their trees here, just because it's a really unique connection to the land of Israel, which bears something so beautiful in return.
And it's not just olive trees, I understand. You can also adopt a grapevine and receive bottles of wine, and even your very own private collection of whiskey from, I think it's an adopted grain barrel. Is that right?
Correct, right. So we are focusing on the 7 species known to the land of Israel, the olive tree being the first that we focused on. But as we expanded to more farmers, we focused on the grains that are known to grow indigenously in the land of Israel. So our next step was to invite farmers who grow vineyards, vines across the land of Israel. And now people from around the world have the opportunity to adopt a grapevine in the farmers' vineyards and receive privately labeled wine from their vines in Israel. And our latest addition really is the first Israeli distillery in the Golan Heights, which produces amazing whiskey. And so people have the opportunity to join barrels that we have there at the distillery, and they can receive also their privately labeled whiskey, which we ship twice a year. And I have to say that the main consumers of the whiskey are Jewish communities, shuls, and temples who really found the whiskey to be an excellent way to do a l'chaim after Shabbat services while still having a piece of Israel to remember part of the services.
And I do want to ask because after October 7th, Israeli agriculture was really hard hit. How has the war impacted sort of all these farmers that you work with?
So there are two significant ways that the farmers were affected during the war. The first is that much of the manpower used at the farms and in the orchards, the people in the beginning of the war had to leave the farms and go into reservist duty. And that was very, very difficult for many of the farmers who, the trees don't stop growing just because there's a war going on. And so it was very difficult, especially in the beginning of the war, but also with all of the war in Lebanon and the war with Iran, to leave the farm and still somehow come and harvest the trees and take care of the trees. So that was a very significant difficulty. And the second difficulty is, of course, the actual hits by the rockets, which harmed the fields, harmed the groves. During the year, we added another winery to our list of farmers that we are supporting. Up in the Moshav Avivim, there's a wonderful family who grows vineyards in northern Israel. And their winery was completely destroyed by the rockets, which is a complete travesty. And so my tree in Israel decided to help the winery by offering people to support the winery through the purchase of bottles that were saved during the fire. And each label reads, "I helped rebuild Avivim Winery," as a way to show that these people were a part of supporting the rebuilding of the winery.
Incredible. And so if our viewers want to adopt their own tree in Israel, I mean, how can they do it?
So it's very simple nowadays that we have our website, which people can go into, mytree.org.il. And there people have the option either to adopt an olive tree or grapevine or whiskey cask. I have to say that we are just 2 weeks away from the harvest. So anybody who gets to adopt their tree before November 5th will receive their 6 bottles of olive oil, which I'll just show how it looks like. You get 2 of these packages, each with 6 bottles of olive oil with your private label. And you will receive this after the November harvest in early December in time for Hanukkah and Christmas. A wonderful Christmas gift, a wonderful Hanukkah gift, and just a terrific way to both support Israel and receive something beautiful in return.
Absolutely. And I understand that for those who also adopt a tree, I mean, they can actually come and meet the farmer themselves. They can come and visit the tree and see sort of their sign. So it's really quite an incredible sort of connection to Israel to have.
I must say that regardless of the COVID-19 and the war, we've had tens and tens of people, either through their community or as families. They came here to the orchard to visit their tree, to visit the farmers. And every time that the family comes and sees their tree, for myself and for the CEO of the company, Kobi Asaf, it's a very emotional experience to have people from all ages, from all backgrounds, from Reform Judaism to ultra-Orthodox, from evangelical Christians to even Muslims, who adopt their trees here, and just a wonderful way for them to connect the land and feel that tangible connection. There's one couple I remember who came from Detroit, an older couple who came, and when they saw their tree, which they adopted in honor of their 40th or 50th anniversary, every time that they come and see their tree, they just had tears in their eyes. Because for them, it reminded them the time that they came and they volunteered on the kibbutz 20, 30, 40 years ago. And to have a tree that's yielding for them olive oil every year, which they can share with their brothers, their sisters, their family, it's just an incredible moment. And also for communities who adopt groves here, the members of the communities, synagogues, the congregations, they come and visit the trees, which their community has here in Israel. So it's just an absolutely amazing experience.
Absolutely. I mean, really an emotional and moving connection to Israel, and a delicious one, I have to say, as well. Ishai Gelb, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.